Hello, welcome to Smiley's. Been a hot minute since the last time. Yeah. Hi. I'm Lee. I'm joined by Mora.
Let's get on with it.
Hello.
Yeah.
So we're back with Full of Light after 4 months, 4.5.
Nobody's keeping count. It's
Nobody's
fine.
keeping
It's
count.
the
It's
next
fine. It's
video in the
fine. No one
playlist.
cares.
So yeah. Oh, there's no video, by the way.
Yeah, there's also no video. It's a long story. We're not gonna get into it right now. But we've been busy. So yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna bore you with details because I'm gonna bore you with Full of Light chapter 19. So yeah, scrap and
How
get
dare!
a
It's
drink.
not a boring chapter. Yeah.
Anyway, Full of Light chapter 19. Oh boy. So for starters, I really like this chapter. It contains some of my favorite passages. It's knee deep in subtext, and it delivers an excellent lesson on narrative point of view framing. It also happens to underscore its theme from the first word, which is always nice. And that first word is
Restitution.
yay! All right, yeah. So scene 1, I've named because I named scenes. Apparently, I wanted peace, all I ever wanted, which we're not going to get into the veracity of that, by the way. That's not pertinent to the discussion. So, restitution, a concept whose seeming simplicity belies its underlying complexity. Goddamn. It is also a concept that Vathar Sander is most interested in
You
exploring.
know what?
Yeah,
You took what Erickson writes and made it even more complex.
I
Can you
did.
repeat the sentence? Yeah.
A concept whose seeming simplicity belies its underlying complexity. Goddamn.
See? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. Continue.
apparently I'm pretty verbose, or was when I wrote this. I don't even remember when that was. It is also a concept that Vathar Sander is most interested in exploring. The restitution of his soldiers, of the deniers in the forests, of the Sheikh, or even the highborn. To do so, then, one must apply a certain measure to the crimes and answer it accordingly, the spoils of the crime, as it were. Of course, such a measurement is nigh impossible, as abstract concepts of restitution and innocence, or freedom, or privilege, or greed, etc., cannot be made tangible and so cannot be answered with coin or gold, which then begs the question of how one would go about answering them. In the meantime, as one does, Renarr is studying both Urisander and Sholtatha Lower, the latter of which is lying on a divan, languidly making a mockery of the scene, because keep in mind what I said about narrative framing, this is going to come up a lot. The contrast is quite stunning. To that end, Sholtatha is currently plucking at some thread of lint and carelessly sipping wine while replying to Urisander. What about the victims who care little for gold or vengeance? How do we go about restituting those individuals? Good question. Now, restitution may live in the present and promise a future, but it dwells in the past. With a lot more adjectives in the text. I'm not summarizing all of those.
Oh, wow.
Ultimately, the only restitution capable of ending the vicious cycle is that of destruction of the offender's civilization and the wild's return. So I have a couple notes on this, one which I just made up and one which I've written a while ago. First and foremost, reading this scene, way back when, I had an impression delivered unto me that Urisander was almost triumphantly debating these notions, while the world about him burned, and each intellectual step forward was itself a victory, and I was therefore invited to contempt, courtesy of narrative framing. This will come up a lot. The audiobook, however, paints a completely different picture, with Urisander sounding genuinely angry at the idea that people could consider a notion like that simple, and anguished, though resolved to bring an end to things, that it has gotten this far. And if you're going to listen to one scene in an audiobook, let it be this one, or at the very least, another Renarr and Urisander scene later in this chapter, because he's really good. Because, like, it's really good. To that end, there is this notion of Sultatha mentions that restitution is found in the silence of healing, and that silence only comes when the criminals and their ilk are gone. This is a notion that is brought up again. Well, I say again. It's been brought up before by my boy,
yeah.
Silkas Ruin, because I love Silkas
Oh,
Ruin.
is it? Mm-hmm.
When he is talking with Bryce regarding leather, and he says that the only way for a tyranny of like the one currently ruling leather. That's a I think that's 5 times fast. Can only be destroyed can only be annihilated, and he points to the fall of Kamensaut as a neat example of how that fall may come about. Irony. And more to the point, that restitution can only be brought about when the system itself is destroyed, done, and dusted. Which is a notion that Ursander struggles to grasp, which is odd, because you would think that's the whole thing of what he's trying to do, but no, he really is trying to fight the system from within the system while maintaining the system.
But then he sort of sees her point, right?
We'll get to that. Whether or not he's successful or not is a matter of debate and perspective.
that's
so
it's just at least acknowledging that there is a good point there.
yeah, no. I mean, he is very much inviting intellectual conversation, which some, like, say, way back when was a Lord Delgastrend, I think. That said something along the lines of he is, what was it, like, intellectually masturbating? I think it was.
Yeah.
Something to that end. And Renarr is similarly unimpressed, but then again, Renarr is unimpressed by everything, so, yeah, I should move on before I go on too many tangents. So, Ursander, as mentioned, seems delighted at Shaltatha's counter-argument, and does praise Renarr for awakening such a lively mind, though Shaltatha counters this by replying that her mind was honed by abuse and neglect, for it sharpens the inner dialogue, and surely there are many selves within each of them, and some are uglier than others. Yeah, it's that kind of chapter. Ursander doesn't see anything ugly in her, but as she asserts that a venal, vicious demon hides within her, Vathah replies that he merely welcomed her to their company. Okay, by the way, the gall on this dude to act so self-aware. Like, dude, no.
Yeah.
Stop. The hints that Vathah is aware of his predicament litter this chapter, but his intentions remain unclear beyond "I wanted peace." There's a lot of things to take away here, and no one right answer, or rather, there's a lot of right answers, I think. Maybe you disagree.
No, I didn't get you, sorry.
No, I think, basically, Ursander has been pushed around a lot, and this is the first chapter where you really come to think that maybe there's something under the hood beyond, like, Jesus the dumbass.
Really?
Because he seems, at the very least, self-aware of his predicament, which, okay, it's not like a secret, but more self-aware beyond, like, the, or at least more openly self-aware. We are more privy to what he thinks of himself and what he thinks of his current predicament beyond, oh, he's going to face justice eventually. One day. But not now. But eventually. And so on. Here, he's more open.
See,
yeah.
The problem with this scene, for me, is that we are rereading. So I'm extremely distracted by something else. And so I don't know where Ursander stands here. So I'll just leave it at that with no spoilers beyond chapter 19. So I'm just very distracted by that. So, but then this is fine. This is a good bit of dialogue, but I can't, like, dwell deep inside this. Right?
Yeah, sure. Renarr replies, accurately, that Ursander's soldiers don't seek restitution, for what they've lost cannot be returned to them. What they seek instead is land, gold, and influence. And for all their base greed, they are now painted white, as if blessed. Father Light replies that he is subject to their demands daily, and Shaltatha, almost absent-mindedly, mentions Hunral. Now, I've made another note. I made a lot of notes. I like this chapter a lot. Anyway, what Vathah's soldiers have lost is what Serap described back in chapter 7. I'm taking Paston Lee's word here. That is the right chapter. That white banner of innocence, now stained irreparably red. Almost like Renarr had an encounter that described that to a T.
Ooh.
Yeah. That dawned on me, I think, after I wrote this part. And then I looked back at the summary and hang on, that I'm dumb. Anyway, yeah. In the meantime, mentioned in the meantime like 4 times, but a lot of things are happening in the meantime. The Legion prepares to march as Ursander overlooks them through the window, detail to which Renarr, and therefore we, are not privy to. She asks if Ursander would simply be pulled along by the tide of self-serving indignation, but when he asks if she advises he defy the wishes of all his soldiers, her replies that she advises nothing, a fact which Shaltatha draws attention to in relation to Renar's subtlety.
Nice.
Yeah. To that, Ursander replies with a metaphor about sculptures and his soldiers, and this will get brought up again. And had already been brought up again, but I'll get to it in a minute.
This entire book is about sculpting when Forge of Darkness was about painting. So.
Yep. In the early mornings, he could stand here, a sculptor of 3,000 marble statues, with 3,000 stone hearts and 3,000 stone breasts, and he would tremble as he gave the command to march, in fear of witnessing his creations broken and shattered. And can we just take a minute and appreciate that metaphor? That is a really pretty metaphor.
Yeah.
That is a really nice metaphor.
And the way it comes from Urusander of all the people, it's just almost makes you think he's human, no?
Well, it's not human. He's a god.
Urusander, I mean, he's a secondary god. He's a made god. So
He is. Yeah, that's true. So the note I was talking about earlier, this sculptor metaphor, as Maura mentioned, has been brought up before, way back in chapter 1, about looking to the sculptor's hands carving his monument. Yeah, well, this is the most explicit that metaphor gets with regards to Urisander. And more to the point, what Urisander is ultimately getting at is that his soldiers are his creations, and they are an image of his own self, much like he described Hunral way back when in chapter 9 to Sharinus, I think, as his blessed poisoned portrait. Yeah, the portrait's also important. Look, it's been a while.
There's also that one sculpture, I think Rise finds it.
Yeah, it's the Savaging of the Hound. It was last chapter.
Was it last?
It was last chapter. It's been a while.
Yeah, so that one.
Yeah.
Right, moving on, yeah.
If you're following along at a later date, this should be like right next week, but it's not next week. Anyways, it would be truly utopic to imagine an army of such perfection that it need never do battle, fight, and die. But the brutal truth is that each soldier out there has had all their softness hacked away, leaving not but stone, cold and hard, existing only to destroy. And what does that say about Lord Vatha Urisander, you ask? See here.
Yeah. Oh, you said something? I didn't catch you.
Oh, what does that say about Vatha Urisander? Let's not talk about it, yeah?
I think you said something and I didn't catch it. Okay.
No, it was a rhetorical question. It's like it's an open-ended question that I'm not gonna bring up because I don't want to paint it with a bad light.
Now,
yeah.
Shiltatha?
Shiltatha breaks the spell of silence by claiming that there will be no battle. The nobles will surrender. The marriage will take place. All is well. But if they do, Urisander replies, the houseplates will remain intact, and the clash is only delayed. The marriage will avail them nothing. Which noble family would be the first to yield its land? There can be no peace through political means, not anymore. Shiltatha's eyes light up, she comprehends. Urisander plans to betray his own soldiers, and Santara will bless the knife with which Hunral plans to kill him. His reply is merely that all he sought was peace, and now he marches to battle, to force the nobles to fight them, and force unto them negotiation and justice. And then, there will be restitution.
There will be restitution.
Now, on functionally every front, Urisander's assessment is correct. Well, except for moral, I guess, but which makes it worse. It's a truly deplorable state of affairs when the only manner in which a marginalized group can be heard is through force of arms, when pogroms against other marginalized groups go wholly unchallenged, and when political machinations serve as mere fronts for further underhanded dealings. We saw a few chapters ago, I don't remember exactly when, a meeting between like all the nobles, like Hishtula and Manib Dagala and all that. And they're busy talking about like each other being sluts or something. I don't exactly remember what went down, but the point is like Urisander's massing an army to march on Gorkonas, and the only people capable of defending it are the Hust, which are prisoners, and the nobles that are more busy having a piston contest and actually doing anything to stop it. How did we get here?
How?
That's also an open-ended question, by the way. Fill in the blanks. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. So, the conversation shifts to Hunral, because of course it does, and Urisander definitively states that Hunral is both an outlaw and a murderer, who shall be handed over to Chachas Legion with his blessing, in his first gesture of reconciliation.
Which murder do you think he'll charge Hunral with?
All of them.
Yeah,
like all of them. I also want to mention that, like, once again, the audiobook here is excellent. Like, Hunral, the way he just turns and goes, Hunral is an outlaw and a murderer, is just so filled with passion. It's really good. It's really good. Anyway,
No, the
on
thing
that
is
note,
because
yeah,
the voice
go on.
switches like midway.
Yeah,
It's Sheltata saying Hunral, and then it's all of a sudden Urusander growling. He's an
yeah,
outlaw and a murderer. It's really well, very well
it's
done.
really done. Yeah. So, on that note, I'm not too sure how important the blessing part is, as Hunral has made it rather abundantly clear he's not going to listen to Ursander's commands in his capacity as captain of the Legion, and it's doubtful if he'd heed Father Light either. So, like, his
Hmm.
blessing is more like an underhanded way of saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna stab him. I'm gonna apprehend him with my entire Legion." Good luck with that, dude. That ship has sailed like a whole book
And
ago.
he's probably talking like a god here, saying, with my blessing.
I do think so. I think so. Yeah, I think this is another point in this chapter where Sanders kind of thinking like, what is this guy playing at? You know, it's like he's been denying this role for so long and for good reason, and now he's
Yeah.
like, well, if I have to take on that role in order to get this guy to justice, well, I might have to. He doesn't outright say it, and again, Renarr is not particularly impressed, but it is
Yeah.
interesting that it's there. I really like that tension between like the different characters, like how Renard feels about this, how Sholtata feels about this, how Rosandra feels about this. It's the kind of stuff I really like with Steve's writing. So there's that. Now, speaking of Renard, she is naturally dismayed by this news, but she ultimately decides that none of this matters. Great.
Yeah.
The Camp Horse will be overjoyed by the sudden rush of coin, and therefore will understand that soon the Legion will march, but none of it matters. Father Ursander has come to a sense of duty, and he will wed Mother Dark. A deviation is not too large for him, for he yearns for such moments of self-sacrifice to set himself apart from the rest of the rabble, akin to the spreading of a peacock's tail, none for himself, and all for the others. Let it not be misunderstood, then. He may be reluctant, but it is that very reluctance that spawns the virtue. And by the virtue in question, he will force onto the realm all that justice can take. But even then, he'll defy some of the more egregious wishes of his soldiers. Yet another sacrifice. But none of it matters. Now, before I get into like the longest note I have here, I want to talk
Yeah.
about the fact that it's important to recall when we're discussing Renarr that her mother sacrificed her own life to save Alexander from an assassination.
Yeah.
This talk of sacrifice is very personal to Renarr. So keep that in
That.
mind when I get into the note
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
how she's
That's
just.
a good point. Yeah.
Well, since we're on the topic of narrative framing, Renarr is, as I've mentioned like 3 times already, superbly unimpressed by Rosanna's posturing and terribly unforgiving of her own adoptive father for her own reasons, as brought up mostly her mother. Perhaps a more impartial observer would see things differently, but we're not privy to a more partial observer because God knows Galan himself isn't an impartial observer. Is Renard's assessment fair? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no. Of course it fucking isn't. That's the point. She hurts. She can't allow herself to make an emotional connection with the person who called himself her father. She instead resorts to a proper noun, which I've brought up before. She calls him Father Light, and the F is pretty much always capitalized with like one exception, which I've brought up way back when, like chapter 9, because
Yeah.
everything he does goes against the memory of both her parents, Charlotte, which we brought up already, and Gurren, whose memory is further defiled in this chapter at the hands of Hunral. She can't allow herself to feel for this man because it's too little and it's too late, and it is. She doesn't hate Ursander per se because she can't even bring herself to do so. It doesn't matter anymore. It's over.
Can I?
Renarr has a what is it? I can't remember if it's this chapter or some other chapter before this, but Renarr has a very fatalistic outlook on the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when she talks with Saltatha, I think it was an earlier chapter about like a secret, the color of slate, and how
Yeah. Yeah. That was the
well,
previous
basically, way
chapter.
back
Yeah.
when I brought up already the encounter she had with a soldier, or the opening scene of chapter 1, she's not just unimpressed. She is. Forge of Darkness ends with her going to the city to start like the trade of prostitution, and then she comes back to her son. She's like, "Well, I get it now. My rebellion's over. Can you be my dad now?" And he's like, "No, sorry." And both of them, it's just like they're incredibly dysfunctional, and neither of them is necessarily at fault because of external factors, but it just doesn't work. And at some level, she can't bring herself to care anymore. Like, why bother? She gave Lysander all the chances, and he kept fucking it up, so she doesn't care about him anymore. Like, whatever.
Okay.
I'm not gonna advise you to do anything. I'm not gonna tell you to do anything. Just whatever. It doesn't matter. We march again. We march to war, rally the troops, whatever.
Can I have one thing.
Yeah.
This whole this monologue where she goes on for like 2 pages.
Yeah.
Where she's so sarcastically bringing down Urusander. I don't know. The way you say it, it's fine that she's hurting and she's upset with him, and so she has all these feelings. But I'm just thinking of the way Zil keeps mentioning that Renarr is like the chorus.
Yeah, no, she
So
is.
this is
In many
just
ways, she
her.
is.
This is just Galan trying to, you know, frame the narrative the way you keep saying. Isn't that what's
In
happening
many
here?
ways,
It's
he is.
just
Yeah, yeah.
all his. If you don't have this monologue, if you skip these 2 pages, it sounds like a very straightforward scene where Ursander is having some deep thoughts of, deep regrets of what is he doing and how is he going to start his restitution and things like that. But then you bring these 2 pages and the whole thing
Like,
just breaks down. He's just posturing. He's just, being an ass. So I don't know. It really works that way. So
yeah, I wouldn't say being an
that,
ass.
what would you
See,
say?
I would say that he's lost. He pretty much lost control way
That
back in
is
chapter
that is
one.
your that is you being charitable. I'm saying if you just take these 2 pages of Renard's impression of him,
Yeah, and I'm saying that Renarr is not being
yeah,
charitable.
she's not. Yeah, she has no reason to be because there are multiple reasons, and more than anything, because Galan doesn't really pop into the narrative in this book compared to like
Hmm.
Forge of Darkness. It's all left to Renard to be the
Yeah,
prejudiced voice for us, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
So, very soon, she will stand alongside Lysander in the citadel and see him wedded once more. Soon, a sort of justice will be dealt, restitution will be made. The dust will begin settling and the storm will pass. Surely, it will not turn now. Yeah.
Right. No comments. Yeah.
No
Go
comments.
moving on.
Renarr begs Lysander's leave to depart, but he doesn't even seem to take notice. Instead, he looks upon the Legion and declares that their march begins tomorrow. Shaldatha requests of Lysander to spare not her mother on the day of her justice. And when Vatha makes no reply, Renarr takes her leave.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what a scene. Yeah, we've had
Oh, this is
Lysander
just
just
the
like
first scene?
wax lyrical for hours, and then we had Renarr tear all of that down 2 pages. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what basically happened. Yeah.
So, because I'm gonna pour more to death, I could think we should move
Oh,
on. Scene 2.
what are you calling this?
The Priestess and the Historian, and only in writing out that title did I realize the parallels between Emerald and Rise and Sandara and Sagander, which
What? Didn't
are
you
obvious in
pick that up
retrospect.
before?
I
I think you
didn't.
would.
I'm not
It's
very
in
smart.
every chapter they have come at the same time. You have these two and then these.
You're making me feel bad about it.
I'm
Stop.
sorry.
No, yeah, you're
It's
right.
like
Yeah.
very, very few things you miss. So I'm very happy.
Yeah. I don't know how I missed it, to be honest. I'm not even sure. I don't know.
Maybe I
Anyway,
did all those chapters. So
could be, but I didn't.
usually, yeah.
Anyway, High Priestess Santara is planning out a procession that boils down to light, more light,
Mm.
and some more light for good measure. Sagander
Yeah.
is a bit unimpressed and was talking of Shaltatha as her presence in the company of Renarr is dangerous because a whore begets more whores, I suppose, and she's but a child. Santara replies that Shaltatha was never a child, and she's surprised that her skin remains white despite her swilled flesh. This is that kind of chapter.
Soiled. Yeah. Yeah.
Sagander
I mean, the
aptly
irony of
remarks, yeah,
all this
yeah.
being Sintara. Yeah, yeah. That's where Sagander is going. Yeah.
Sagander aptly remarks that Sintara was a temple priestess. Please, enough slut shaming, I beg of you. Please. But
No,
then
it's
shifts
not the
gears,
book's
talking
fault.
about, yeah.
It's the society there.
It's true, it's true.
Yeah.
talking about how reinvention is necessary, as the sordid nature of affairs could not be considered to be destined. He'll forge a new destiny, and his name will be revered for years. Which, on that note, sounds an awful lot like Dune in many ways. Now that I think about it.
Oh, after talking Dune now, go on, go on.
No, no,
Don't
no. It's
spoil
like this
anything.
idea of forging a new destiny. You know,
Ah.
of rewriting a destiny. Of we're not gonna spoil the books. That's fine. Go watch the movie. It's great.
No, it's just that this whole thing with what do you call
Yeah.
people recreating their identities and things like that in so many
Hmm.
ways. We think that Malasan is like more closer to I don't know how to put it in times, but Karkana seems much more closer to present day modern world than
Yeah.
anything in Malasan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so much, even though it's supposed to be that ancient, it's not.
Hmm.
Karkanas is way more relatable.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way,
Yeah, there is
Sagander's
more
train of
slut
thought is
shaming
cut off
coming up.
because there's more stuff. Of course there is. Anyway, his obsession with that child is unseemly. It kind of reminds me of Kepler's code about gazing and admiring instead of gawking.
Yeah, yeah. I but
So yeah,
admire. I don't gawk. Yeah, yeah.
Sindara doesn't really care. Tathlorad would make a whore of her daughter, so if Shaldath's lessons involved the sensual arts, who was she to judge? But Sagander replies that he sought her salvation.
He tried to
Okay.
save her. Yeah.
And he would never impugn her so. Impugn? I don't know. How do I
Impugn, I
pronounce
thought.
that?
No?
Impugn, maybe. I hate
I
English.
don't know. Me too. Yeah.
Sintara even offers him any child in her number. In
Yeah.
case you weren't
Yeah.
convinced, Sintara is just the worst. But Sagander flatly turns down, as he still takes pride in his profession of tutor.
Yeah. His new
Sintara,
side gig because he's
yeah,
a historian.
he's historian first, tutor second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sindara is
Right.
pleased, as his weaknesses won't be exploited by his enemies, and Sagander rightly surmises that she'd be the one to exploit them instead, but whatever. And the conversation moves on. The army is marching, but Hunral has not bothered to show up. We know why they don't. It actually becomes quite a talking point among Liosan about what the fuck Hunral's doing. Sindara, currently busy with ritualistic proceedings, has graced the commoners with her presence. I fucking hate Sindara. She replies that the high priestesses must observe the wedding, and through some small talk, eventually they conclude that the blood spilled on the battlefields is a necessary sacrifice.
Necessity. Yeah.
That somehow bothers Sagander, who finds war crass and a triumph of stupid minds. But Sindara replies that the blood spilled on every battlefield shouldn't go to waste.
Yeah.
I'm fine. This is fine. I'm fine. Moreover, there is power in blood, so why not use it? That's fair. The tutor answers that she already has one altar, and is that not enough? But Sintara counters by saying that every battlefield is sanctified and countless sacrifices are conducted upon it. And remember Galan's words in chapter 10 about thrones and altars?
Yeah.
10,000 thrones, one for every fool, but the altar remains singular. Yeah. Leave it to Sintara to unwittingly embrace unflattering metaphors. She just walks into each and every one of them. It's great.
Yeah.
In Sagander's opinion, gods of war are awful. And it would not do to concert with them. He even advises banishing them, but Sintara replies that such things are inevitable. Yeah, sure. Besides, the war will be short. A decisive battle at Torrens, and Draconis will be among the first to be slain. Sagander's concerns that Mother Dark wouldn't see him slain are met by Sintara claiming that Draconis won't leave the battlefield alive. The scholars wish to kill Draconis, invites the priestess to mockery, because let's be honest, he's a one-legged old dude. You get it.
Yeah.
Though she does raise the good point that Sagander only seems to fight with his battles in their aftermath, because he's not quite quick-witted enough to do so in real time. As if to
Oh.
prove her right, after she is scorned by her derision, he thinks how the faith of light eschews complexity and embraces simplicity, and would therefore prove popular because he can't say that to her face because he's a. Look, I don't like either of these characters. They're very well written,
But at
but
least Sagander
gods below, I
comes out the
fucking hate
winner.
them.
Yeah. If Sagander comes out as the better person here, you can just imagine.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Do you have more
Scene
notes?
3.
Nice.
No more thoughts.
Scene 3
Really,
is
people.
fun.
Scene
Scene 3
3.
is just fan service to Book of the Fallen. No?
Yeah. Some mothers should never have been mothers at all. Because, again,
Nice.
this is that kind of chapter. Captains
I
and
think from here
firemen
on,
Yeah.
the rest of the chapter is about children. So it starts with these two
Yep.
mothers, and then the rest is about children. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God, how does he write like this? Shit.
Captains in
No?
firemen and Tathlorand of the Legion are witnessing the Legion's preparation for the march. The rituals of grief and wailing at day's end sounded hollow to Infian's ears, because they are, though their attention is currently fixed on the mortal sword as he makes his way through the camp. In any case, they're preparing for war, and soon the wind will carry them all to the way to Carcanas, or Carcanas. I guess Carcanas.
How do you say it? Have we
Probably
forgotten how
Carcanas.
to Karkanas? I say Karkanas because it's closer to the Kannada word Karkane. So Karkanas.
Yeah, sure. Carcanas. Okay. They discuss the upcoming conflict and their own conflicting loyalties, because if the entire book thus far hasn't made it abundantly clear that the captains of Sanders Legion are venal and faithless, well, here you go. The danger Hunral and the new sorcery poses, and how to act henceforth, yeah?
No, I was just saying that aren't all the soldiers having doubts regarding their commanders? It's like
Yes, but less doubt. This is less doubt and more so,
conflicted, I mean.
It's not so much conflict as much as it is just like greed, It's what Renarr talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Because she's the chorus, and of course she has to you get it. We brought this up. Anyway.
Male slut shaming coming up, so.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Tath never played favorites when it came to being a captain, and she'll continue down this path when she has titles and wealth, and never mind her husband, because she's just this kind of person. Infian is somewhat unimpressed, but then again, she always is. And the two watch as Ral moves somewhere other than the keep, which is somewhat suspicious, before the conversation moves back to what they would do after the conflict is over. Ral would not spare them, he's not stupid, but Infian doesn't much care, for she won't survive the war in all probability. She offers Tath her daughter, and the former goes on a tangent about how she'll sell him Menandor, because, these people are terrible.
Yeah.
Before Infian nonchalantly replies that Tath clearly has not met her daughter. And again, in the audiobook,
thank you.
It's so deadpan, it's amazing.
Yeah. Till here, Infian is that no-nonsense lady who's just like, my ancestors, all my ancestors died on the battlefield. I'm going to do the same thing. And my daughter will also do the same thing. Isn't that Infian?
More or less,
the whole backstory of,
Yeah.
Nice.
And then
so yeah,
comes
this
Tath,
is what I meant.
This woman at your side plays rough, and Infian just turns around and just goes, "You've not met my daughter, have you?" It's so deadpan. It's so good. It's like the only good thing she's said this entire book.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine. Ultimately, both agree that there are mothers that should never have been mothers at all, and conclude that their daughters would agree as well. And I would too. So
No, this is fan service. Yeah.
It is more or less just fan service.
And honestly, the first time I read it, it was, I think, only in this scene when the name Menandor came, is when I realized that, oh, this is what we're talking about. This is where the origin of those names are.
Yep.
But we haven't met the other one, Sukul.
We have. She is in Forge of Darkness. She is with, she is a hostage with Histula.
It wouldn't make sense, right? Okay, I don't remember.
We've forgotten all the things. Yeah, it's been a while.
No, but doesn't she die though? Who dies?
No, Shireena's. No,
who's
no
the
one
dies. Whose head is chopped off in the bar?
Serap Isgin.
Serap. What are the cousins? What is okay? Just please remind me, who is Sukul? What is she? Where did you see her last?
Sukul is the cousin of Shireena's and Kadu. She is a hostage with Histula. She is with Rancept. They find Burn.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Sort of. Yeah.
She's currently at Tula Keep. She is pretty much.
Tula Keep?
That's all. She's a hostage.
Okay.
She talks with Orphantal. She drinks wine.
Orphantal is the kid. Oh God, yes, she's a 12-year-old kid. Yeah. The one with drinking wine with the small boy.
That's the one.
Yeah, thanks. See, that's the point I remember. I don't remember that. all this other stuff. But yeah, Sukulankadu we've met, so Menandor and Shiltata, we've met all of them. Right.
Yep. Okay. Well,
So
we can, we can continue. Okay. So, scene 4. Dead and deadened, stained beyond all innocence. It's gonna be one of the weirder parts. Yay.
yeah. Oh yeah, the magic one, yeah.
So, Hunral, love him, is undergoing the preparations to enter the first forge, and has
Yeah.
commandeered Billick, Gurren's replacement as blacksmith of Neretsor, and the Legion, to create the necessary conditions for the fire bitch to manifest.
Yeah.
Billick is borderline insulted by Ral's presumption of naming himself Mortal Sword of Light, and gleefully, to me, replies with, what do you do the
A
honors?
lot of F words. Yeah. Oh, you want me to read that out? No, the audiobook does it so well. You don't take the title. No, I can't do that. You do it, it'll be fun.
One sec. Where it is, you don't take the title of captain no more. Mortal Sword? What the fuck is that? Ain't no Legion rank I ever heard of. You're looking for worshippers now? Fuck that on a stick, which is very inspired.
Yes. Yeah, poor guy dies immediately.
Yeah. So, which Hale? Do you remember her?
Yeah, she's the one who
Yeah.
healed Renarr,
Yeah.
Renar's face after she got beat by her ex-fiance.
Yep.
Her late ex-fiance. Yeah.
She exits Billick's home, and upon seeing Hunral, is just as unimpressed with his posturing as Billick is, though for somewhat different reasons. Mostly because he's fucking around with magic that he simply does not quite understand.
He's
Because
what
he's
with
dumb.
magic?
He's fucking around with magic.
Like
Rather
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hale, of course, it's not like Hunral is a particularly difficult man to read, nails it, then Hunral dismisses her by claiming this is Liosan business.
Yeah.
She replies with the fact that she too was stained, but her skin was now changed to ashen grey. Ral is unsurprised and says that all of Neretsor has been sanctified in the name of Taist Liosan. This seems to further support the
But
notion that Neretsor, yeah.
That's a very good line. It is strange purity that washes off. Huh? That's a nice line, I thought.
Which another nice line is from Renarr, because of course, way back when in chapter 1, when she says, she but wears her hesitation.
On her skin, yeah.
So, but this notion of Neretsor being sanctified seems to further support that Neretsor has corrupt her land before its warrenification, which has been something that's been floated around a few times. Yeah, that's a verb now. Warrenification.
Yeah. Okay.
So
the way
Hale
Lysander has been godified.
Yeah. It's like, we have like the non-transitive verb to dragoniper, or like get dragoniper. So it only makes sense that like warrenification is a thing.
True.
No. Hale doesn't
has
much
to
care.
Be godified yet.
Yeah.
Sorry. I have to stop.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Hale doesn't much care and is only here to ward Billick because she knows that Ral would kill him after his use is done. Spoiler alert, he absolutely would. But Hunral is curious as to what she believes would happen here. She asks what the flame bitch offered him.
Can you please? She has a name. Excuse me.
I'm fairly sure she called. Wait, does she not call her that?
The name does come up, yeah, but still, yeah.
Oh yeah, hang on. True.
It comes up like right on the same page.
And he can barely recall a scepter, then a crown, then the throne.
Why doesn't he recall anything? He was drunk.
He was drunk. Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah, I mean, he literally says she'd made me drunk on her. Not wine, not ale. Yeah.
That's true.
That's it.
That's true. Hale is again unsurprised that he's forgetting because the flames are growing unnaturally fast. I need to stop calling her the flame bitch. Anyway, Oler manifests by lashing out with fire to incinerate a shrieking witch Hale before setting the entire house ablaze, which ends up killing Billick's 2 apprentices. Now, Billick's 2 apprentices are the cousins of Millik, because of course they have their name like that, which is Renarr's once beloved and the man whom Usurk killed in cold blood that mocked Millik and got a fistful on their jaw for their effort.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, those were the two cousins. That's what happened to them.
Yeah.
Now, she beckons the two of them into the first forge, claiming that she was summoned to the fashioning of one scepter and now another. She feeds the
Do you have
forge all
some?
that it needs. Yeah?
Do you have any idea what she's talking about here?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. She feeds
Okay.
the forge all that it needs, and now it is his presence that is necessary. Now, that does mean
Yeah.
that, yeah?
No,
What?
no, go on, go on. Go on.
It does kind of mean that Draconis made use of the first forge to craft the Scepter of Night, effectively summoning his ex to make a gift for his new girl. And then people wonder why Oler is so envious and spiteful. It's like,
Yeah.
dude,
And malicious.
and
She's
malicious.
envious and spiteful. Uh, I mean, yeah.
Hunral steps through and finds a world of ash and blasted earth, the sky blindingly white. Oler begins by saying that love is at the heart of the first forge, since to challenge the bond between the newborn and his mother is to awaken fire. And again, thus motherhood and children motif
Yeah.
continues.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I
Ral
was trying to
counters,
tell.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the Sundar sequence is very formal, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is not how Hunral speaks beforehand, you know? It's like
Yeah.
she made me
The
drunk on
whole.
her, fucked up my memory to be
Yeah. Yeah.
certain. It's
That
like
is
here he's
different.
like,
Yeah.
you are a
You
goddess
know
of the
nothing of
hearth or some
love.
shit. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's yeah. Anyway, Ral counters by saying that she is a goddess of the hearth, and the only promise beneath her fire is pain. Love is nowhere to be found in this matter. She replies to him in turn by saying that he drowned the newborn within him. So of course any feeling of warmth would awaken only pain. He's nothing else left to feel. To punctuate the point, she raises up the dead baby that once was Hunral. Well, metaphoric. Well, no, the baby's literal. It's right there. The fact
Yeah.
that he was once Hunral is probably a metaphor, but it's no less grotesque because, I mean, look at it. It's,
I
yeah.
know. Like drowned in wine. Yeah.
Olar goes on. Each of them are mothers to what they spawn within, and how they decide to treat it is paralleled with them kneeling before a private altar, a dagger in one hand and a blessing on the other. That dagger can be many things. In Ral's case, it's his endless obsession with wine. The blessing can come either from within or from without, but the curse of the dagger can only come from one's own making. In wounding oneself, one makes a lifetime of wounding others. And so Oler concludes, Urusander dares speak of justice. If he had it, who would be left standing? Which is very verbose on Oler's part, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say on this matter because it's weird, it's grotesque, it's been a while since I read it, and I don't remember very much, but it's worth revisiting a few times, probably.
Hmm.
Anyway, the time then has
Why does
come.
this scene
Yeah.
remind me of the Redeemer, the seer dominant things? I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know.
I mean, there's this form of like grotesqueness between Celine and this dead baby,
No, the whole
probably.
blessing and dagger and all that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, sure, that works.
Okay, maybe we'll have to read both the scenes back to
We
back and see.
probably should. Good idea.
Yeah, you
Uh,
do it.
the time then has come to forge the symbols needed to achieve this balance. The first forge manifests in myriad different ways. Draconis probably found it under a dark smoke-wreathed sky. Hunral has brought what Oler had asked, the thigh bone of a wolf, from which to conjure the scepter of light. Of course, light's essence dwells in fire, but Hunral, the drunk idiot, wouldn't know that for all his arrogance. Funnily enough, there is a quote in chapter 7, I think, where Hunral says, thinking about Santara, that from fire, this gift of light, no? Referring to how he's going to burn the entire place to the ground, like as in the
Oh,
temple, when he's done with conquering. But when, like,
does it say
you
that?
know,
Okay.
he does. And when, the goddess of fire manifests before him and is like, yeah, so I'm kind of a big deal here. Like, nuh-uh,
Yeah.
dumbass. Anyway, he, that's in Draconis, kept them all children, and when at last he offered them a mother, it was too late. Now, one more interesting thing, which I've kept note of, is that in House of Chains, Lorik, the pompous asshole, claims that Talan is actually born of Kurl Thurlan. And here it's the inverse, because Lorik's a pompous asshole.
Okay. Yeah.
This is Nif
I don't remember
pandering,
Lorik
Like
saying this. Right.
if I have to elevate or Sander somewhat, I have to like bring Lorik down so he doesn't, there's a balance.
Why? Why? They can all be shit people. I don't know why you have to like raise one to bring the other one down.
Fine. Balance in all things. Anyway, in any case, Ral must needs forge a scepter now, and to that end, Olar gifts him with Bilik's skills in forging, as in she outright kills the blacksmith, and along with it come Bilik's memories,
Yeah.
all of Bilik's memories. And so, in a weird mix of third, he, and first, I, person narration, we learn of Bilik's
Yeah.
life story, from his time in this village, a worldly paradise to such an extent that he had never considered the possibility that other villagers may differ, a village that achieved something like an idealist commune, which others dismissed as impossible. It was then that Bilik had apprenticed to a blacksmith named Cage. Cage was a simple man, a compassionate man, who would make toys for children, until one day he snapped the tanner's neck for sleeping with his wife. And then the village had two widows, and it was paradise no longer. And Bilik understood
It is
then.
so good. This thing
Yeah.
is going so well. This story, and then what happens? What does Unral do?
He chokes off his
Dull
voice.
lessons of a dull life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Squalid memories. What an ass.
Bilik understood then. You fuck one thing and it fucks everything else. After that, the Legion found them.
Yeah.
There was a war to fight after all. He even remembers the first time he came upon Renarr.
Choke. Oh, but this,
Yeah.
what does the audiobook do here? I think he does some choking noise. Well, in somewhere in this chapter, he does his choking noise.
Could be here. I don't actually
Oh, it's
remember.
at the end. It's I think at the end when during the glyph conflict, probably. Hallyd Bahann talking. I think it's there. There's a choking sound there.
Probably, yeah. That makes more sense, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
somewhere. I just
remember.
know that I heard the sound somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So,
No.
Ral at this point has heard enough and, as said, chokes out the voice, though he finds such knowledge and skills to be useful. Olar assures him that he might as well aspire to godhood, because anything other than that would be akin to possession if he wants to keep his skills, and he would not like possession, so, don't get used to it.
Yeah.
Ral has a scepter to forge, though, and perhaps belatedly, he realizes that the scepter does not wholly belong to light. No
Why not?
shit.
Why not? Because
Well,
it comes from fire, like that.
because the wait, let me find the quote. Dog or wolf, this creation will not belong to light, not in its entirety. Well,
Yeah, that's because
Olarethel is the
Olar's
goddess of the dog runners, and the wolf in question is presumably an A. So this thigh bone is more closely aligned to Olar's people than the light Liosan. So
plus also they're literally using the forge
plus that.
because yeah.
So
But she says,
Yeah.
"Oh, I will not abuse this privilege."
She didn't. To her credit, she hasn't yet.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, she even accepts the fact that Ral himself may make use of her sight. To close the scene, Ral looks down upon Bilik's corpse and thinks how it saves him the effort of killing him. No! Say it isn't so.
Yeah. Okay, now,
So,
we have one more Urisander scene.
yeah. Scene 5, which is probably one of my favorites, and it's where my flair comes from, by the way, if you're
What do you
wondering.
call it?
Some opinions are just plain ignorant. It's
Is that your
this is
flare
where
now?
no. My flare now is hang on, let me find it. Wait. Every fool eager with an opinion invites the same judgmental weapons wielded against them. Is my flare right now? So
Yeah.
Well, it
I
doesn't
mean, I'm
fit
not going
exactly
to
like that, but
comment,
that's the idea.
but yeah.
Anyway, the chapter opens with a disembodied voice speaking of resurrection and its frailty, something that goes away and can never return intact, and that fragility cannot be hidden unless one willingly blinds themselves to that truth. And if you don't know who's speaking, yeah. Anyway,
Who is it?
I mean, it's pretty clearly Renarr, no?
Yeah.
Because it's the chorus, as we mentioned. But also because it fits, Like, on the one hand, she's talking about Vatha's frailty as, like, a commander, and how he cannot go back to who he was and what he was, and he looks like he doesn't belong. But also it talks about her and how she has been hurt and broken, and now she just looks frail and cannot return intact and whatnot. But anyway, I should probably, leave that for the notes. Right on cue.
Yeah.
The scene cuts to Ursander being adorned with his old armor, which is extensively described in quite a lot of detail. Ursander himself, however, betrays no emotion, and his own thoughts are on Kadaspala, or Kadaspala. Kadaspala, I like more.
Oh my god, you've forgotten all the
I have
pronunciations.
forgotten a lot of things, I'm sorry. How the dour artist would begrudgingly elevate the scene into myth through sheer political expedience.
But he would also
points out, yeah.
He would also understand the necessity or something, right?
Yep. The elevation of the banal into myth. Such a good quote.
Nice.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Renarr points out that such a scene invites the sculptor's hands, but Ursander's thoughts remain on Kadaspala.
Okay.
Indeed, many people considered him to be a complainer, a wallower, a man filled with loathing, and they would dismiss him accordingly.
Sad.
A fact which never failed to anger Ursander, and then you wonder why I like him.
Yeah, okay.
He respects my boy. With respect to the name of Kadaspala.
That's
Okay,
such a low bar to clear. Yeah.
True enough. Yeah, that's fair. So, as with most scenes in this chapter, this particular one is almost like handcrafted. It feels like this was paid extra attention, The irony of Ursander completely ignoring any and all worldly stimuli, which Renarr picks up on and promptly ignores. The contrast of a man that's being presented as the epitome of pragmatism, in truth being more concerned with matters of art and dismissal of opinion. It's great. I like it. It's fun.
Nice.
Renarr replies that Kadaspala was always capable enough of fighting his own battles, though Ursander replies that against the fools he often faced, nothing could shake them from judgment, and Renarr agrees. Now, since you can't see me, I have the biggest shit-eating grin right now on my face, so, Therefore, it falls to Ursander to point out such stupidity. More specifically, he does not decry the act of judgment, but the supposition, the tone, the audacity to presume, because by simply pointing out faults and throwing insults, one does not hide their own venal paucity of wisdom. God, okay, if this isn't Steve bitching indirectly, I don't know what this is. But also, holy shit, he went for the jugular. Okay. Every fool with an opinion invites the same wielded against them.
Extra hard for you. So this should hit more for you because you just finished CPT, Crackpot Trail.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. So yeah, CPT is very much about this thing. Just like take this one paragraph of Ursander speaking about critics and art criticism, turn it into a novel, make every metaphor real. That's CPT. It's a great book.
Yeah.
So, Renarr simply replies that idiots won't care because they're idiots. I love this chapter. But Ursander persists. Let us call them out on their shit for all to see. I'm paraphrasing a little. She counters by saying he doesn't have the audience, and besides, not all opinions are equally valid. Some are just plain ignorant.
That's so good, yeah.
Now, there's a lot of ways, in my opinion, to view this scene. Renarr could very well be subtly digging into Ursander. No, nothing would. And his idea of justice. Some opinions are just plain ignorant. But I think that beyond the surface, there's more to it than that. Ultimately, what I think Renarr is saying is that simple words, no matter how accurate, how weighty, how filled with gravitas, are not going to change the course of history, and is thereby indirectly urging Ursander to action. An action which the man is very deliberate in not taking, as that means accepting the farce of this fate of Liosan. Though we did bring up that he is closer to that than he was earlier in this chapter. Right?
Yeah.
The standoff is far from new, but this is the first time where Ursander feels like he's on somewhat equal footing with Renarr, for the aforementioned reasons. I really do quite like this scene. So, also, we did point out that Steve is bitching in this scene indirectly. Or rather, more directly. So there is that aspect as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I basically wanted to do chapter 819 for these two scenes, the first one and this one. Everything else is filler.
Oh.
Well, it's not
Okay.
filler. It's really nice. It's like these two are the specific ones. So Ursander then commands the servants to leave, and admittedly gets very blunt with Renarr. He is old. He's too old for this shit. All he wants is to dispense with contemplation and simplify matters. There'll be a battle. Might as well get it over with. Renarr astutely observes that he has set his mind as well as his sword, and Ursander cryptically replies that no matter the outcome, this battle will be his last. Ominous.
Yeah.
Observing the commander standing
And
before
then
her,
there's a child.
Renarr considers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Renarr considers that beneath all the guilt and pomp, something broken hid its swollen face. She allows that the readers, because again she's acting as the chorus here, are invited to sympathy, but she invites the reader to
See?
watch Ursander march
See?
to the river of blood. She
Yeah.
commits to not leaving Ursander's side until this is done, and she gets to look upon his swollen face, and upon it she sees hope. And her final thoughts are on betrayal and its lessons.
Yeah.
Such a good scene, dude. It's so nice. Okay, alright. Yeah.
From this high, you have to move to.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. So, scene 6. Their petty lust is too base for our righteousness. God damn it.
True. So true. Oh God, so true.
Sindara, god damn it, and her flock are witness to the curled snake. Curled snake of Ursander's
Curled
legion.
snake of Neritsor. Yeah.
Yep. As it lies assembled within Neritsor. A fire had broken out the day before, encompassing the town's forge and taking with it the smith and his apprentices. The legion's blunt head is angled to the south, presumably towards Carcanas, with her officers arrayed throughout the courtyard. Sindara remains unimpressed with such mundane, worldly matters as leading armies. Ursander, until he is crowned Father Light, that is little more than a military commander. The pleb, the idiot, the everyman, the layman. This procession, it belongs to Sintara and the gift of light. They shall guide the serpent, they shall be its fangs, and they shall deliver to all, legionnaires and Andi alike, their righteousness is above such petty, mundane wants as lands and wealth.
And wealth. True.
So a wise man once said, what seemed like eons ago, there is nothing more terrible than conviction.
Who said that?
1.5 books later. That's from the first chapter of Forge of Darkness, when he is talking about the there will be peace on the lintel stone of Dragon's Hold.
Yeah.
1.5 books later, that mantra is still relevant. Thanks, Sintara. You're the best. Hunral is, alas, missing, and though the prospect of his lying incensed in Somali is indeed alluring to the High Priestess, she is more inclined to believe he's gunning for some large entrance. Thus, she must find herself a destrian of the faith to act as a foil to the mortal sword. Oddly, she thinks that such a candidate may be found among the Highborn, who are Andi, or the Citadel, who are also Andi. With that, she and her flock set down the track to partake of the procession.
Okay, 2 things.
Yeah, hit me.
One is, sorry, you made me lose my track. So one is this way the religion, the faith does not bow to the military because they try to remain separate, which is like very close to like world history, right? The faith maintains its own power and the army is just like a arm of the faith, right?
Yep.
That's one thing. And second, for all her power of being the high priestess and shit, she has no idea that the fire was due to Hudural's making. She doesn't know where he's gone. Like she's clueless. This is the limit of her powers. So sorry. These are the 2 things.
Yeah, very astute.
So what?
Very astute observation. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Sindara is nothing if not a bit hypocritical.
Yeah, she's hypocritical.
She's hypocritical.
I don't know.
That's the word.
We don't know English.
I don't know English. Yeah. Exactly.
How would you say it in Greek? Just say it in Greek.
Yeah, it would be hypocritic in Greek. That's why I'm a bit confused. Like, is it hypocritical or not?
What would you say?
It would be hypocritic.
So just say that then, yeah.
Anyway, scene 7. We march to Garcanos.
Oh, we're done. Do you have
and there will be
no
justice.
notes? Okay.
No. I mean, I don't have any notes for Centaur. I mean,
Okay.
Centaur. Watching the procession, Captains Taft, Lorad, and Infi and Menand are shocking absolutely nobody, rather bemused by the show. The skin of the priestesses is described as cadaverous, and Taft even claims they look bloodless. And Feyen literally
No,
could
she
not
just
care any less. Yeah?
no, sorry. That scene ends with all of them brocaded in white. They set off in a procession and all that. And then
Mm-hmm.
the next line, the whore has ears.
Yeah.
So that's such a good contrast. Right. Please continue.
Yeah. So Feyen couldn't really care any less about this whole thing, and is much more interested in the upcoming battle. Whereupon her horse may fail beneath her, but not before she slays a few dozen houseblades, these privileged betrayers. Now, there will
Yeah.
be quite a few notes in this scene, for a few reasons. But I'd just like to point out that the Manan bloodline, like the Iskin bloodline of Ral, are all highborn. In Feyen's insults carry a lot less sting when they're born of envy. Dath's skin remains porcelain, her lack of faith notwithstanding, which is fortuitous enough. Light blesses, and Feyen replies indiscriminately, from sweet bliss to sweet horror. Yep, in case it's not abundantly obvious, that's just the kind of person Feyen is.
Yeah.
Tath's husband, who is Hallyd, by the way, hasn't been
Hallyd
reported.
Bahann, right?
Hasn't reported in quite some time, and Tath's concern is born solely of the incompetence he's showing and how that might reflect upon them. Indeed, she believed that if she were sent in her husband's stead, Sharinus' head would be little more than tatters of flesh and bone, riding her standard.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah, totally. Infagan believes she's being unfair, and that contempt blinds both ways, and it's more than fair to say that Infagan is not much like that Lorat. Well, fucking anyone for that matter. She's an antisocial narcissist obsessed with last stands and a fucked up understanding of legacy, but I digress. Infagan wishes Sharinus had found Tath first, but she's content with the knowledge that her daughter will be safe now. Friendly reminder that Infagan insinuated that after her death, Tath Lord might take her own daughter under wing. Just fucked up shit, bro. It's like, yeah, my daughter will be safe now, but after I die, I'll just give her to this chick that wants to abuse her because I'm just that kind of person. I'm fine. I'm
It's the
fine.
Liosan. That's how they are.
I'm fine.
The Liosan.
I'm fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
The war ahead would prove exhilarating for Infayan. The first blood of the Civil War was drawn by her company, a company which admittedly lost its discipline and committed crimes that even Infayan finds credible. And so she's sure that the fighting will be more fierce. Yeah. I don't feel like I need to bring up what crimes those were, right? We've gone over this before.
Which one? The
crimes committed
Sorry?
that were breaches of discipline.
No. We don't need to go there. No, we don't need to go there.
Yeah. We don't need to go there because Narad brings it up anyway after this chapter, like ends. So
True.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Her only hope.
Don't remind me that scene is coming up. Yeah.
Is that she gets to cross blades with the Sons of Darkness, ideally Anamander, and so secure for herself the title of Slayer of the First Son of Darkness, and never mind the details. History forgets, simplifies, streamlines. Feyen Manan slew the first Son of Darkness and was then murdered by his brothers. Now,
Yeah.
privilege needs a serious fucking over is a line that would be a lot less sinister in the context of like Reaper Scale or Midnight Tides or something like that. You put that line in the mouth of someone like Vanessa Thad, who,
Yeah.
and you have most readers going like, fuck yeah. Now, within Feyen and the context of her monologue, yeesh. And Feyen is actually so unsettling that she manages to scare Tathlorad, which is saying something, and they have a quick discussion about the future. The battle will take place at the Valley of Tarns, as Silkas put it out in chapter 18, and I pointed out earlier. I'm a dumbass, I don't know why this is here. To avoid damaging the prized city. A city which, mined in Feyen, would readily burn to the ground. The city where Ur-Sander will be made king, or, Tathlorad corrects, Father Light. Her gaze lingers momentarily on Tath's daughter, who smiles back at her, and Feyen's unease is momentary, and alleviated by the arrival of Ur-Sander. Her closing thoughts are that they march to Karkanos, and there will be justice.
And there will be justice.
Okay, So thus ends the nerd sore portion of this chapter, which
Go to
has
the
some
forest.
admittedly fairly interesting things and some admittedly very sordid things. And we'll move on to the forest section, which is much more interesting and also, well, both brutal and depressing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Scene 8. Blessed, the face is made innocent once again. Off in the forest, Captain Hallyd Bahann and his company of 300 men and women are prowling for deniers. Having burnt Jan's monastery and secured a few Wigger shields, and having sent the children of the other monastery, to which Hallyd admits with some regret, which is more than could be said of other captains, you know? Like, he wishes he could send the children to be safer, but, you know, I mean, in Fate will probably kill the children.
Yeah.
I don't like in Fate Manand, okay? Alright. So, he prepares for battle with a group of deniers that has gathered about. Yeah, sorry?
No, he's just rationalizing it, right? The kids will be fine. It's okay. They were in the snow and in the cold. They'll be fine.
Yeah. I want to say it was fine. I'm fairly sure it was fine. I don't remember if it was fine.
I don't know either.
Perhaps they'll even find Sharinas if they're lucky. His lieutenant informs him that they're now seen, and Hallyd considers his options. Perhaps they'll push the deniers to the river. The forest has been burnt to a crisp, and the stench yet remains, but the crimes committed leave no such marks upon the skin. They are made innocent once more. I rolled my eyes.
They're absolved.
You probably didn't see that. With such thoughts circling about, Hallyd orders the advance, in spite of Arkandas's misgivings. In any case, once they reach the denier lines, their superior discipline will take hold, and they will break, only to be bloodied by iron blades. Now, to be somewhat fair, this isn't, given the intelligence which he lacks, this isn't a terrible plan. He is superiorly armored, he is more disciplined, he has heavy infantry, and he is entering, well, if he had reconnaissance, he wouldn't be doing this, but Hallyd can only be so competent before he has a stroke, you know? Like, at some point, he just, like, it needs to balance out. He can't be too competent, otherwise he might look pathetic. We can't have that.
He can't have a heavy infantry and then enter the forest, right?
Yeah, which is precisely the problem with not doing reconnaissance. Because if he knew he was getting ambushed, he wouldn't go there. But he's an idiot.
No. The problem here is Hallyd Bahann being dumb.
Yeah.
Did we decide that he's the dumbest character?
I think we did. Yeah, Watchtower 17, right? Yeah. When he's talking about
it just
check.
Proves, he just proves himself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's more where that came from. It's fine. There's more. So, Arkanas also informs.
He does some bargaining. Yeah.
Arkanas also informs them that the Legion is marching southward, and Hallyd declares that after they're done here, they will meet them on the way. They close ranks and prepare to advance, claiming that these bastards have no honor. And I think this is something you sent me to highlight he's an idiot. So I did, please take it away.
Yeah, I was so. No, this guy. He's like, oh, we're going to chase them to the river and we're going to do all this and blah blah. But they have arrows. I think they're a little bit worried about them using arrows. But that's okay. We will close fast and then there will be no use for arrows. But we have to be careful. Why? Because these forest-dwelling people whom we chased and killed and burnt their forest, they have no honor. Can you believe it? Such shitheads. No honor. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go to the next scene.
Thank you. Scene 9.
I'm so sad he dies in this. Seriously.
Scene 9. Such are the children of war. Yeah, this is the depressing one. So,
what have you named it? I didn't catch it.
Such are the children of war.
Oh, yeah. Good. Nice.
Cliff, alas, is a better tactician than Hallyd, and not an idiot, which helps, and has indeed spotted his line out, with most of his hunters hidden in the forest. Lahanis, beside him, is eager for the battle, to draw blood, but Cliff counsels patience. Let them shuffle further into the forest, where their shields will become a detriment. That's fair. Yeah. Lahanis is not much interested, but she's following orders nonetheless. But even so, Glyph has to cajole her by promising further blood in the near future. She decries Narad even now, after their little talk earlier. But Glyph knows that this isn't the battle per se, but a hunt, and the Sheikh are hunters. They may need armor for battles, but legionnaires will provide those, because,
they're going to harvest it today.
Yeah. Lahanis knows
harvest.
that when the Sake engage, the Legion will retreat, and to that end, she will take her butchers, yes, her butchers, behind them, and she
Yeah.
demands that Glyph does not forsake them. Glyph does not immediately
Yeah.
reply. His thoughts shift to Narad and how he has become a symbol found by witches and shamans who now claim him as their own, speaking of forgotten gods that abide on this shore. The Watch welcomes all the lost. Lahanis' outburst brings him back, and he exceeds. Her promise that there will be no survivors chills him. The irony of the name Butchers is not lost on Glyph either. Glyph has become the
Yeah.
last fish in truth, and for that he almost grieves. Narad speaks of some greater purpose, but no such purpose can be seen. No matter. In the meantime, there is this. Oh boy.
This line,
Yeah.
I want to say that line where he says he used to paint ash on his face to make a mask after grief, but now he doesn't need the ash anymore. He's become the Idur.
Yep.
Okay, not officially, but he's become the Idur. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The next scene is somewhat
Yeah.
funny. So,
Yeah, I guess so. Scene 10, I've named Damn Right We're Retreating in a bit more hasty a tone, but it's a bit late here. The Legionnaires have
doesn't
been
matter
had.
if they're.
Yeah.
It's just that these what do you call these lower down soldiers. This lady is so sharp. She says, "Oh no no! When you're laying a trap, this is how you lay a trap to catch a prey." Like she knows obviously what is going on. But yeah, Hallyd, awesome Hallyd.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't catch what I said?
About him being. No, you said, like, Talra is smart, and she talks about laying a trap, and then, like, Arcanus is like, well,
Yeah, yeah.
we need to leave. Why? Well, because Khalid clearly hasn't seen this. So, yeah, no, he's definitely dumb. He is.
One brain cell, the single brain cell guy.
Yeah. Talra's small group has been had, pestered by hit and run tactics from Glyph's hunters, treading through knee deep snow. The lieutenant advises a general retreat, but to do so, they need to find the captain first, and Arcanas highly doubts he'd have ordered a recall since his plan is to push them to the river. Okay, I know what I said earlier, but everyone's a great armchair tactician after the fact. The plan was sound, provided they can maintain cohesion and herd the enemy up to the river, which of course they cannot do when said enemy is organized enough to retreat in good order, through their own terrain, while they haven't scouted. Look, no plan survives first contact with the enemy, and Hallyd didn't think it through quite that much. He's only so competent and only so idiotic. Don't ask too much of him, You can't think beyond.
Yeah.
It's the old RDS tactic, just like select all the army, right click into the forest, and wait. That's all he did. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's tactically sound.
Right. Right.
As they attempt then to make their way to Hallyd, they walk into the most obvious ambush there ever was, complete with
Yeah.
fire arrows in the snow.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. Never mind. We'll just chalk it up to a metaphor of the vengeance of the Sheikh burning brighter than the freezing temperatures about them, because fire arrows aren't a thing,
Oh.
even in the best conditions.
But they've smeared tar on the shaft, so
Yeah, I'm sure.
it's mostly to induce fear, I believe. Whether it's like useful or not, if every other arrow you just light it on fire, it's going to make these people lose their shit, right?
Yes, sure, that works. Now the lieutenant has been shot and died more or less where she stood. Talra, her weaker shield pelted with arrows, orders a retreat and searches for her old squad, namely Farab and Prill, the three soldiers in Bar de Lac way back when, grubbing through the snow.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the
Oh
guys.
shit, it's them.
That's the guys
Thank
that
you.
Rennick is hunting down. Yep, those are the ones.
Oh my god, I didn't hate Telra. I forgot to hate Telra here. I thought she was
It's
just
like
being
last
funny.
chapter, like chapter 17, she also burns the fuck out of Janus Monastery. Like she just goes in, knocks the door, stabs two monks in the throat.
Yeah, I followed the
She's
thread
awful.
there.
She's just
but here,
she's bad. She's bad.
But she's a little bit funny because she thinks
She is.
Hallyd is dumb. So
Yeah, Hallyd haters get a pass. It's fine. In the meantime, Lahanis is chasing after the Legion soldiers, one after the other. Having already slit one's throat, she relishes the carnage of the Legion at the hands of Glyph's hunters. Soldiers have dumped their gear and are dying en masse, with an overwhelming number of Shake descending upon them. And we're back to depressing things, because the next scene is Glyph, again. And this one I've made no more of his work this day.
Glyph, no more? Sorry?
Of his work this day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Glyph has taken to administering coup de graces on any Legion soldiers he finds. His thoughts, however, are elsewhere. He's never before seen so many bodies, nor such a battlefield. Galan delivers on his promise made way back when, before Chapter 1. Shall I then offer up the reek of shit and piss? And gets quite into just how horrific such battlefields are. Horrific.
Yeah.
I still do that. Horrible.
Horrific. Yeah.
One of his hunters speaks to him, though, the words are nigh incomprehensible at first. They've captured the enemy commander, and Glyph commands that he is brought before the watch. The hunter comments that this is a great victory. Then Glyph outwardly agrees, even though his inner thoughts are centered on this sculpture with his red hands.
Yes, a great victory.
That marks, by the way, 2 for 2 on Galan callbacks from Glyph's perspective. A potential sculpture was identified earlier in this chapter in Vatha.
Yeah.
But the sculptor in Glyph's metaphor could be any poet who lusts for blood, as it were. Any, person who would relish in this carnage, because they're they're those kind of people. Like half the Liosan in this entire chat. I don't like Liosan. Okay. Right. Okay.
I think we're the last one, right?
Yeah, that's the last scene. And it's quite nice. It's the third best scene of this chapter, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, scene 12, which I've named I followed orders. That was my crime, remains my crime, remains forever my crime. And I've made a note, because of course I made a note. I've made a lot of notes, as you probably figured out by now. This entire scene is something of an inversion of a similar scene between Skara, Hallyd, and Narad in Chapter 20 of FOD. Therein, a quote by a sergeant in Narad's squad was, I am a soldier of Ursander's Legion, and I follow the orders of my superiors. That becomes very pertinent very quickly. So, Captain Hallyd Bahann has indeed been brought before the Watch, who is to decide the man's fate. Narad seems to regret this, as he wants to take no part in this, but needs must. The warriors about him have all changed, in a fundamental way that's difficult to describe, as though their purity and innocence has been irreparably slain. Something, white banner, something.
So, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. All their inner inner children, it's all dead, right?
They're all
after
dead,
this battle.
Yeah. Oh boy! Why are we reading this book again?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
We should have just dropped it. We should have
we should have. We should have. Their change from hunters to warriors is not a celebration or an achievement. It's a sordid downfall. Okay, here's when Hallyd just turns up the idiocy notch a bit, up to 11, and just offers to pay ransom.
Yeah.
And so we have a callback to the beginning of this chapter. Go on.
Yeah, Narad has a minute to what is this guy talking about? Yeah. Sorry, you're talking about restitution.
What is he talking?
What if the victim?
Yeah, we have a callback to the beginning of this chapter and Ursander's talk of restitution, because indeed, Saldatha's quote is quite pertinent here. Restitution is not found in the words of compensation, of guilt and bargaining. It is found in the silence of healing, and that silence only comes when the criminals and their ilk, their very civilization, is gone. However, Narad humors the man, if only because he has a point to make. Every soldier, he says, holds to the faith that their cause is righteous. Such a faith keeps the stains from becoming permanent. Keep in mind that Hallyd believes that faith in Liosan keeps the stains from becoming permanent, and that Narad's warriors were just now permanently stained by what they did. It's a really good fucking scene. Imagine then the betrayal when they learn their
third best.
Yeah. I did call it third best.
And
because
still call this the third best. Yeah. So no. Yeah. Go on.
Imagine then the betrayal when they learn their cause is not righteous. Gasp. Hallyd pushes back. Ursander's cause is righteous enough, with which I'm inclined to agree, even if the means are a bit suspect. But Narad calmly wonders if it was by Ursander's command that House Ennis was slain. What was the moral justification for such acts?
Good question. Who is asking this question? Can you believe who is asking this question?
Narad?
No.
No?
I mean, it's like, it is. I'm just saying that it shouldn't be done this way. This is not how you write stories. Isn't it like so twisted that this guy is questioning someone else for the crimes he did?
Mm-hmm.
It is so
Yeah.
good. It's, I don't know. It's so beyond. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Such excesses lie in the hands of the captain. But Narad wonders again, where did such excesses begin? When the first blade is
Yeah.
drawn and the sanctity of flesh is violated, and look, we've gone over this before. It pretty much defines Narad's whole character, but his tirade with Hallyd is quite satisfying, and
Yeah.
we stray from a noble path unto horror. Now, note again how Infein characterizes the two things, horror and what was the other one? I forgot. Damn it!
I don't know. I
Sweet
don't
bliss and
remember.
sweet
What is it?
horror. Wait.
From sweet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. From bliss to horror, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sweet bliss and sweet horror.
I'm just.
Yeah, just like I don't like Infein. Now, a group of shamans and witches have approached Narad from the northwest, from the forest of Astrakans. And Narad...
Should I know these guys?
No. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it's possible Ivus came upon them, though I don't think so. Like, maybe they talked to Ivus.
The skewered goddess, that one?
Because I think... I can't remember, because he sees that goddess, right? And he had, like, this whole revelation that, like, the deniers are killing their goddess. And...
Yeah.
I don't remember if he ever meets them. I think he does, but like not by name.
I'm not sure.
It's not like these people are like named or important or anything. Narad asks them, in his thoughts, not to speak to him anymore of ancient spirits and forgotten gods, and he'll not speak of his memories of their kind screaming in a burning longhouse.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you were curious, so I checked for you.
Sorry.
Yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Yedan Dereg slew 28 Sheikh witches and warlocks in a longhouse in Dust of Dreams, but nothing in that passage indicates that it was burning. Which means either Dereg set another longhouse ablaze and I simply don't recall, or this is a different watch.
Or Erickson just forgot.
But we're ignoring that part.
Yeah.
They offered to take Hallyd to a clearing with sharpened stakes, which both Hallyd and Narad find... So they offered to take Hallyd to a clearing with sharpened stakes, which both Hallyd and Narad find distasteful, but for different reasons. Such things are not done to soldiers and by soldiers. It's savagery. But indeed, the Sheikh have descended to savagery. Were they not named deniers, after all? Deniers of life, of truth, of faith, as it were? And now they have fully embraced the ways of the soldier, terrorizing the innocent, slaying the weak, the helpless. Hallyd, at long fucking last, recognizes the Legion sword Narad wields, and the latter wonders what worth a civilization if savagery can flourish so readily within it. Now, I feel like I'm making a note every paragraph, probably because I am. But in Chapter 9, when Proc and Ivy speak of this, what value the civilization if it dispenses with the virtue of being civil? This entire scene is just all of those scenes. You know, this one, the scene earlier in Chapter 19, Chapter 7, with Seraph and the banner. All of this is put into one scene, put into action, distilled, and presented to you in about 3 pages. Well, on Caliber. It's really, really well made. And I really like it. Third best. So, Narad admits to his complicity in the events of the wedding, and admits to his crime, which was following orders. Now, Hallyd offers them in Fein, but Narad isn't done. Why does every army execute its deserters? Perhaps it's nothing but the comprehension that if a simple soldier can see past the facade and expose it for what it truly is, the whole institution will come apart. Some may just be cowards, others may simply object. And so to know for sure...
Deny.
Yeah. And so to know for sure, we must look to the betrayers of those soldiers. Justifications are hard to come by. Reasons are hard enough as it is. And the journey from reasoning to justification should be long and arduous, undeserved by most. Alas, many just cheat.
Yeah.
Hallyd is done talking, and so is Narad. and so the latter instructs the summons to slit the captive's throat, which they elect to take to the glade all the same. Because, yeah, sure. Glyph and Lahanis come up to Narad and let him know that a few soldiers have escaped the slaughter, but they have access to their horses, for all the good they'll do them. They won't starve any longer, and will no longer have to eat their slain, which also has a callback to Sharina's doing the same a while ago.
Yeah. So
Glyph
it's not
compliments
like
Narad. Yeah.
So it's not like these guys are doing well. They're in the snow in winter. They're also struggling for food. So it's good to have that, yeah.
Glyph compliments Narad's plan, but he inquires what will happen when the next commander comes. They won't be as foolish as Hallyd, so as to walk into an ambush, which, I mean, that's a low bar to clear.
True.
Narad's answer will be the same answer. Always the same answer. But such answers come not from him, but from the man who speaks through him, an unloved man, for whom uncertainty is strength, a man whom Narad cannot describe, only embody him in his dreams. Glyph replies that the Sheikh have lost no one, but Narad replies that no,
Not
before
true.
this battle had begun, they had lost everybody. Glyph loses a sob and walks away, leaving an angered Lahanis to confront Narad. Is this how they are to celebrate? Narad replies affirmatively, since there's nothing left to celebrate. Lahanis left.
This is how, yeah.
Narad is left to ponder the loss of children.
Oh, God. So many children died in this.
Yep.
So many.
And that was chapter 19. And
Nice.
next will be chapter 20.
By me?
By Nora.
Is it a good one? Is it a good one?
I have no idea. It's been a really hot minute since I read Follow Light.
Okay. It's Tula Keep. It starts there. Right.
Yeah. Oh boy. Thank you for your patience above first and foremost, because we kind of went radio silent.
Chapter. Me.
So
this is fun. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, no,
this time I heard the audiobook and also read at the same time. So it was very nice.
Always to say, listen to the audiobook. It's very good.
Yeah. Okay, and this one chapter, especially if you're a rereader, it does a lot more work.
And yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which we don't know.
Oh boy. We're gonna stop here before we spoil further things about what this chapter does. But yeah, give it another shot if you finish the book, read it again, and you'll pick up more things probably. Anyway, thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for listening, because we more or less went radio silent for quite a while. That's my bad, by the way. I run the Twitter account. I completely ditched that. Yeah. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time, which hopefully is soon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's going to be very soon. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Bye.